Good afternoon, everyone. This is PreMarket Prep at the close. I'm Spencer Israel. That's Joel Elconin. Am I pointing the right way? Pointing at you? Let me make sure I'm pointing at you. I think I'm pointing at you.
I think you're
Okay.
pointing towards the desk.
That way? That way?
Yeah.
I don't know. One of these ways. Yeah, I was right the first time. Okay. The picture is mirrored, so I always forget which way to point. But Joel, one of those days, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right?
Chop and slop. That's the name of the game today here. Made a nice run this morning. Came within 3 ticks of that pre-market high at 34.58. Got turned back at 57 and a quarter. Then we came down. Looked like we were going to take out the pre-market low, but went back up to 34.50. And now we're just hanging out at 34.40. Honestly, just kind of keeping the hands off the keyboard here, not doing much, not good in these choppy markets. But I think finally, we finally may have the consolidation ahead of the election trade kicking into gear here. So that's what I'm looking at. Crude, bad day for crude, down a buck 66 at 40.04. So just a trading range again. Good day for gold. Gold's up 11.20. Let me share my charts here so you can see what I'm illustrating.
Sure.
And then you have silver. That's in the green too, by 15 cents at 25, 12 and a half, called 13. And don't look now, but Bitcoin did cross
Been looking. Been
13,000. Yep.
looking.
Up $850 at 12,820. And I guess we kind of glossed over the catalyst for that rally today.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like every day I come in and I see all these headlines and I pretty much make a snap judgment whether I think that a headline will matter or not, and whether I want to discuss it on the show. The PayPal headline, I had seen that headline early on in the morning, and I had just for whatever reason I just glossed over it. We missed it during the show. I believe someone may have mentioned it in one of our chats, but yeah, the headline here from PayPal that they are now letting users buy and sell and transact using cryptocurrencies on PayPal, which I guess is a bullish catalyst. And if you look at PayPal today, it is up on that headline. I guess I just didn't realize that by letting merchants, accept payments via Bitcoin, that was going to be such a big deal, because that's not my bag personally, but I guess I was wrong for today because that seems to be a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And
Yeah.
there's your catalyst. It was a catalyst not only for Bitcoin to take it up over 13,000. I guess 12,000 was a good buy on that one. Pretty quick work of 13, over to 13,000, hit 13,005. These are the futures. Now pulling back, this put PayPal new all-time high, new
Yeah.
all-time closing high, it looks. So good news there for shareholders of PayPal. Just keep an eye on that mark, that all-time closing high for today. That'd be the only number you have, as well as the all-time high.
All right, Joel, what would you say about Netflix here? This stock is hugging that line here today. That 490, right?
Not, but look at that. Someone is absolutely just bringing stock in there and not letting it go any lower. I don't understand it. 486.50 was the pre-market low. I have no idea. Someone supporting the stock there. Uh, Not a great quarter, closing near the low. I don't know if someone's planning to upgrade it tomorrow, and I don't know. That's weird. You did that little blip over 500. We talked about that. Got over to 505 and change, but someone's bringing in some stock here. I just don't know if maybe they're covering up some option exposure. I don't know, but you would think with the downward momentum that eventually they can knock that buy out of there. And next daily low, well, it is coinciding. The daily low is coinciding with another daily low, but I don't understand. Can't explain why that's holding up. S&P's going red here, Spencer, on us here in the last 15 minutes of trading. Not liking the market heading into the close, and here we are back at unchanged.
Yeah, call me in 10 minutes when we're higher again, though. So I guess the bullish thesis here on Netflix is, hey, it's got support for today.
It
So
does. Yep.
so true what Bill Diggity said. No one has bought this dip yet. Well, they kind of tried to earlier, but they missed. So no one's really so the dip buying hasn't sustained yet. Doesn't mean it can't, and we've seen it work time and time again. So
Yeah.
one, yeah. So to me, this feels like all right. You've got a floor to lean on if you are, if this is your cup of tea.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is that someone had a huge, overexposed on a short position, and they just want to bring it in at this level overnight so they can deploy their assets other places. It's the only reason, because I would, you would think you would just let it fall, just pull your bids and let it fall, but that's what you have in the market today. Will be interesting to see if we get an upgrade or something on it tomorrow.
What about the social media stocks today? Kind of going in opposite directions to an extent after the open because we talked about this pre-market. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Snapchat, all up in the pre-market, and yet Twitter is now at the high, or not anymore, but it was a few minutes ago at the high of the day. Pinterest and Snapchat, on the other hand, have long since said goodbye to their high of the day.
Yeah, you knocked out. We like to talk about getting continuation through the pre-market high. That was right at 35.40. Made quick work of that. New all-time high by a large margin. Now you're just getting a little profit taking. Uh Leading pins over $50 here. Got to $52. That one got a little overdone and pulled back. And then one of the best moves off for Twitter in years. Hard stop or hard seller there at 50.50. Big gap in this one. I mean, they're going to have to prove their own mettle when their earnings come out, but monster move here for social media off the snap beat.
Yeah, Twitter has not been this high since April 2015.
Yeah. Yep.
It's been a
Yep.
while. So if you held on, congratulations, you made it back to scratch. If you held on all
Yeah.
this time, but all right, some other stocks we didn't get to this morning. We did not get to GSX. I had wanted to if we had the time. This is an Andrew left short. He's been extremely bearish. This name. This is a Chinese education company,
Hmm.
and I saw a headline. This is overnight that they had given some guidance that was very poor.
Between that and Nautilus, he's having a pretty good run at things
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Bad looking chart. If GSX is gonna taken out last month's low, and continuing lower, so boy, not looking good. Your next monthly low was under $60 here. Even had a chance to short it here as the trade is high as 80 down to 70. So good. Congratulations, Mr. Left, on that one. Maybe he's holding out for a target. The low from July. Let's see if we can pull that up. That comes in. Ooh, that's way down at 54.29. It's going to take a while to get down there.
Now, so there were two things that were discussed this morning where we had longer conversations about it. Where Dennis was saying how he was trying to talk himself, I think, into buying something. It was Bitcoin and Ford. I didn't buy any Bitcoin, but I did take the plunge and buy Ford, maybe against my better judgment. But I'm gonna set it aside. I'm not even gonna look at it for a couple years. I'm gonna try to forget that I own it. But I took the plunge. We had the whole talk about the electric F-150. It's coming out in a few years. We've seen what happens when these companies, as GM just showed us, what happens when they announce a new electric vehicle. There's a run up into the event. So for better or worse, I am now into this thing, and I'm going to close my eyes.
I did. I did a little nibble too. I mean, we'll see. I mean, there just seems like someone is just selling the world here. It's 787, 788. This is have unlimited amounts of stocks to unload there. You got there again today, really not moving, but I looked, their earnings are not until a week from today. So you need a catalyst here. GM not pulling it up on its own accord. It's had a nice move, from that 660 area to 780. But maybe an upgrade or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. That it gets a little
I,
upgrade.
I don't know, but I heard this. I don't know if this is true, but I heard this. So you know how like when you sign up for a Robinhood account or all these free brokers, you get a free stock. I had heard, and I don't know if it's true, that the reason back when the Robinhood API was open and you could see what stocks all their clients owned, the reason Ford was so high on that list was because most people, when they sign up for an account, got a free share of Ford. So there's a lot of people out there with like random just free shares of Ford, and that was why it was so widely held among Robinhood users. I don't know what that means. That like that's the stock that like Robinhood just gives away like candy. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I'm in it now.
Yeah, well, there you gotta take out. I think I mean, I'm not gonna talk about that 788. That was a high for today. It hit that on the 13th. I think you just gotta, maybe there's a pin on $8 for for this
Yeah.
week, but I think you just need to get it up over 8, and then to get it going to the upside. Not really going up, not really going down.
All right, let's talk Tesla here. We're going to get the earnings after the close. Let me hop into the Pro and see when they usually report. I think it varies wildly. Let me see here. Based on past quarters, looks like they're out anywhere from like 4:15 to like after 5 in some occasions. I remember there was one occasion where they were super late. I think they're usually out in the 4:15 to 4:30 window. So we're going to get a Tesla after the close here in a few minutes. I'll give you the estimates here. 56-cent earnings per share on revenue of $8.26 billion. Those are your consensus estimates. So remember, last quarter they were finally profitable. What was it for like the fourth quarter in a row? And therefore we're actually it was the fifth quarter in a row. No, it was four. I lied. And therefore that made them eligible for the S&P. They didn't get included then. We'll see what happens now. Of course, we already got deliveries, their Q3 deliveries at the beginning of the month. So we already have that number. We're not looking for that. We're just looking for them to reaffirm that they're still on pace for what they had promised for the year, which was 500,000 vehicles delivered for the entire year. But we'll see what they say about that. But
Yeah, it's a tough call. Can go anywhere off earnings or the guidance. At the bottom of the trading range here, the recent trading range, actually, it did have some lows below this 420 area. But just looking at the consolidation here, 360 or 460, those are potential areas. I know the high of the move is 465 and change. You see that low at 360, but really squaring off, waiting here for earnings, and they blow it away, then I still would be cautious in that whole 455 to 465 area. And we haven't been under 400 in a while, so at a dip, maybe find some buyers at 400.
yeah, this is one. I don't know what the expected move is, and I'm not gonna look it up, but I'm sure it's high.
I could get it for you.
I
I mean, just the way it's been. So where's it trading at now? 423. So if I look at the 423 puts and add the 423 calls on this, and my data is very slow here. Why is this doing this? I can't give it to you. Well,
that's
this
that's a
uh,
sign. That's a sign if I've seen one.
it's a side not to trade.
I don't know if it's a bullish or bearish sign. I just know it's a sign.
Let me see the last. The last on the so let's call it 422 and a half. Not a bad call. So the straddle's going for about $34. They're both trading right around 17. So 17, a little bit lower that 30, no, right at like $34. So that's the expected move, 17 in each way. I don't know. That's just a tough. That doesn't seem like much, but just the way it's been trading lately, it seems like too much. So we'll have to see what happens with Tesla after earnings. I would love to see this thing pop up to like 450, 460, and then just sit there overnight and then see what happens and maybe get some cheaper premiums. But oh man, expensive options to trade, and I guess you do better trading fractional shares of the stock. S&P's dip under 3430, but right back here, up 3 points. Spencer correctly predicted here. So, boy, oh
Oh
boy.
wait, is it really? I was
I don't know, man. We got to get away from this 3430 handle. It's absolutely
uh,
just absolutely driving me crazy here. But sometimes, put those hands, sit on hands, SOH.
Yeah.
Sometimes that could be the best thing to do when you're trading, and try not to make moves that aren't really there.
All right, a couple of takers in the chat. We're being asked about space SPCE. Before Joel gives you level, I just want to add something.
Sure.
We probably don't say this enough on our show. And we love talking about ideas. We get ideas from the chat. We hope to give you some good ideas. But if you're going to buy anything, after listening to us or being in the chat, you shouldn't buy anything without at least having an idea of what it would take for you to get out, right? Have at least some kind of a plan on the exit, right? Forget the entry for a moment. Just think about your exit. Like, what would it take on the upside or the downside for you to sell anything that you're going to buy, whether you get it from us or anywhere else, right? Always have at least some kind of a plan for how much money you're willing to lose on a trade or on an investment, right? We know Dennis cuts his losers quickly, right? And that's what works for him. You have to do what works for you. Dennis cuts his losers fast. I tend to hold mine a little bit longer. Joel, we know, never sells ever. It's whatever works for you, but always have a plan. So if you're in Virgin Galactic from whatever 30 or God forbid 40, okay, this is a great lesson. Always have a plan as to how much pain you think you can take. And with that said, Joel, try to give us some level to lean on.
What's the news on it?
I don't know. Is there news today? I didn't see.
Yeah, it had. I mean, that's the top of the trading range here since August. I saw it get up there 2 days ago. Not sure what the news is on it today. I do see a low there at 20. If 20 doesn't hold, you got a trio of lows that person probably doesn't want to see. That's at around the $19 area. So getting hit on the news here, not exactly sure what it is. But I just don't have a lot, at this point, I just don't see a lot of people paying up 350 grand to go to the moon. So that's
Hey,
kind of,
yeah. Wait, when are they starting that? Is that January?
I have
I
no
think I saw a
idea.
few weeks ago that they're starting that up in a few months or next year. I think it's next year. So
Yeah, I just don't have a lot of, so I
yeah,
can't.
first quarter of 2021. All right, that's around the corner.
Yeah, but look at it. You did have a little support there at 20, major support at 19. Not sure what's so heavy on SPCE today. No position.
All right, here's one. Vroom VRM. I saw this across my news feed today, just with some options activity. But VRM, haven't looked at the chart for quite some time. Don't really have a. Okay, there it is.
It's under pressure. Under pressure. Uh 45 has been an area of support here after this big day, this big candle. That looks like some downward momentum. Newly traded IPO had its run. Looks like it's going to test the bottom of the IPO range here. I don't know if they had earnings or what got to the stock today.
Oh,
Next month's low, if you're looking for another potential support point, 44.08. So far, today's low, 45.02.
all right. On the docket for after the close, as far as earnings, Tesla, like I mentioned, Lam Research and Chipotle are your big names. Whirlpool as well. Tomorrow morning is pretty much going to be dominated by the airlines. Southwest and American report tomorrow morning, among others. But those are the big names I'm watching here. As we head into the close, Joel, a couple seconds left. How are we looking for the day?
I guess there was a Chanos joke on this.
No, that was from yesterday, right? I don't think that was that today. There's a
uh,
closing bell.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's can't get them all right there, like you, Andy. Why? I'd closing on the lows here. The two of the lows of the session. 24.50 was your intraday low. 20.50, basically where we're at, where we're open. So we'll see. It's been a trading range. We'll see what happens overnight, but couldn't hold those gains from the last from just a couple brackets ago.
All right, that'll be a wrap for us. Please remember all the information from our shows. All of our shows are meant to be used as informational purposes, not for investing or trading advice. If you want to give us feedback, send us an email, premarket@benzinga.com. Hit that like button. That shows us that, people like us, and we appreciate that. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Good luck out there. We'll see you in the AM.